And we're here. It took me a minute to figure that out, but hey, we got a new countdown.
A new countdown. It's awesome. Good job, Dara.
Yeah.
And I can still dance to it.
Now I just got to figure out how to finish us off so that we all still look good in
you
here.
Are
so I'll
so
finish.
Technically proficient.
Oh my God. It took me all day on Sunday to do that. That's all I did.
It's so cute though.
It was fun. So hey everyone, welcome this week, April 1st. Thank God it's not April Fool's Day anymore.
Yeah.
Welcome to the Groomer's Cut. Tonight, we're hoping Michelle is going to be able to join us, possibly a little bit late, but we start our series off this week of educational hours with the elusive allergy. And April is it. We're all dealing with it, whether it's our allergies, our pet allergies, whatever allergies are going on out there. Some more so in other regions than others, not so much here in New England because we haven't hit those first blooms yet. So we'll probably be hitting those in the next couple weeks, but might as well get a jump start on it, right? So tonight we thought we were going to start this series off with skin. And that's why I was really hoping we were going to have Miss Michelle on tonight, but that's okay. We can do this, right, ladies?
We've all had her class, which is amazing, but the incomparable Michelle Knowles is literally the best skin and coat person. And, there's some very good ones. Barbara Bird is the legend, of course. And Christine Pearson and Cliff is teaching great. I mean, there's so many good classes out there now, but it's so neat for me to see the industry turning to skin and coat as being central to what we do, because of course it always has been.
It is
central to what we do. But I'm going to start off this first thought about allergies and skin to say that one of the things that frustrates me about veterinarians, and I worship the ground that they walk on. I do. They are way more educated than any of us, and they are brilliant and amazing. And my vet just died.
Oh,
56 years of age. Yes, 25 years he's been my vet, and he just died at the age of 56. It was COVID. And it's just awful. Vets are my heroes. And in all the things that they do, they are amazing. But I don't know any veterinary dermatologists. I don't know any experts in skin and coat. And so all the general vets that I talk to, when they look at any skin problem, they just say allergies.
Yeah.
And they don't really look at things like, when a terrier hasn't been hand stripped and the follicles get clogged. They don't know about that. They don't know that, that dogs need to be conditioned and that their skin will react really badly if you strip them with shampoo, and then don't condition them and replace them with oils. There's all sorts of other things that can go on that are breed specific or that are coat type specific. So one of the things I think that it is incumbent on us as the groomers, the skin and coat experts, is to be able to politically gently, talk people down off of the veterinary, it's an allergy, it's allergies. And because that's what they pretty much all say pretty much all the time about pretty much any skin problem they see.
And then throw out, just Benadryl them.
Yes. Yeah, exactly.
Well, I think that we have to understand that when you take your pet to a regular veterinarian, it's like going to see a general practitioner. And so a lot of times when you go see a general practitioner, they throw a bunch of stuff at you they're going to try all these different things. And when all those different things don't work, then sometimes you have to seek specialty care, and step out of that box of just general practitioner, because even though they have so many years of education, they aren't specialized. In dermatology. Yeah. And so therefore, it's like anything else. If it's not resolved in a normal amount of time and the animal is still suffering, then it's time to take the next step and to see a specialist for those things. And usually, yes, a specialist costs more money, and a specialist is harder to get into, and you know,
And usually you have to have a referral to them,
right. And
or
with,
find a vet who specifically might be a general practice vet, but I have heard that there are some out there that do more dabbing in the
right,
specialty
they have like a
of,
background in a
yeah,
specialty, right? So
yeah,
on the part of the pet owner, I think it's going to be our responsibility as groomers to just kind of take the lead and say, look, Fluffy's been suffering with this for a year now.
yeah,
And it's not seasonal because you bring him in every 4 weeks, and I see it,
Yeah.
you know, winter, spring, summer, and fall.
yeah,
So
Yeah.
there's something else going on that you really should get to the bottom of this.
right.
And you know,
And there's so many things that it could be that could be really legitimately for the veterinary to deal with. Maybe there's mites, maybe
right,
there's, you know, maybe there's lice, maybe there's parasites of some sort, maybe there's you know, something, a real skin disease. That could be skin cancer. There could be, you know,
Yeah.
any number of things. So I'm not to say that you don't want to take your dog to the vet. Of course you do, if there's something that's really, you know, deep and systemic. But we are topical dermatologists, and we can do a lot by just, you know, addressing, you know, skin and coat issues from the outside. Their job is the inside, and our job is the outside.
And Terry made a comment that they don't do a lot of focusing on skin and coat versus the internal medicine. But the book Michelle uses in her class for the level 100 skin and coat, that thing's like this big, and it's a vet school medical book all about skin and coat. So it might not be an overall, but at least to me, it seemed very daunting when I'm looking through it going, oh my God.
Well, it's like
what are they
you have to find the right vet. You have to find the right doctor. You know, if your veterinarian is just keep saying, give them Benadryl or, you know, whatever, and it's not being taken care of. And any of the topical things that we do are not, you know, helping to alleviate it, then it's time to elevate to a different.
And as always, our chat room is filled with very smart and experienced people. Terry said that something that I've heard many times, which is that there's really nothing on skin and coat in veterinary school. There's a little bit on skin. There's nothing on coat. It's that is a serious problem. On the other hand, I mean, the skin is the largest organ in the body, and allergies are a real thing. Dogs do have allergies. They can be exposed to allergens in the environment. You know, but those would be, you know, sometimes you could diagnose that just by the seasonality of it, right?
Yeah.
Lisa Herbold, I would like for you to, my teaching partner is, and a wonderful Chicago master groomer with a lot of veterinary tech experience. She says that working for dermatology taught me so much about treating skin conditions, but she actually had to go on and learn from Michelle Knowles about how you actually do therapies that address the needs of the skin. Skin is a living organism, and it needs different things. It needs oils, it needs minerals, it needs collagen, it needs humectants and emollients, it needs nutrition. And you know, I'm amazed the number of vets that don't talk more about, you know, allergies that are caused by just bad food too.
I think that's
we'll get into that next week.
Next week.
Next week we'll get into that.
What are the you know, what are the things that spur on an allergy, you know, that our first get, because we're not allowed to diagnose. So when we look at a dog that has something going on, that we can think, okay, look, we're gonna say this is probably an allergy. We don't know, but what are some of the things that we can kind of be the jump off point, like to say this could be nutritional deficiency, or this could be an allergy from, you know, from mites, or from, like, I've seen flea bite dermatitis. I've seen, you know, skin.
So that's what
things. What do we come across as groomers? Let's talk about allergies in general, since we don't have Michelle here to give us all the medical mumbo jumbo, we can still talk allergies.
The 3 most common factors to it, which I think that I had posted earlier, and that we kind of get more into the other 2 later this month, are the top 3 are pests, so flea, tick, mite, the dermatitis, nutritional, and environmental.
That does not surprise me.
So
and
we
I will
can sit here and talk about the science of that, and how, like you said, the prescriptions that they're describing. And I think a lot of times, and I think the other one that I had added on to this for later this month would be products, because you do see that products that we use have a effect and an effect on the animals that we're taking care of too. So all of that.
A couple of my clients have developed problems because of cleaning products in the home, especially during the pandemic.
Yeah.
I talk about that in my feline skin and coat stuff. We go over the fact that even things that people don't even think of, like things that they wash their sheets in, or the dog beds in, or those plug-in things, that are supposed to be essential oil and all that. They're not. They're synthetics, and so animals are getting really bad allergies from a lot of the product use that we don't even think that it affects our animals.
Yeah, and that's usually, I know my vet, when I've had issues with my animals, have their first thing was, let's look at the environment first and try to see and get rid of what are we using inside. But that goes into a whole other one for later this month. It's so hard to not go back to that. It's so hard to not, because it all comes into it. But when they do say that and you start changing everything, it's like,
and that's the way they diagnose any kind of allergy, is they just try putting it on and then taking it away and seeing what the effect is. But Taylor says sometimes it's the pee-pee pads, the chemicals in those. Caitlin says, I love this. Allergies cause structural immune weaknesses that open up the skin to secondary infections. Exactly. It's 2 battles, the cause and then the secondary infection resulting from it. And a lot of vets are only treating the symptoms and not the cause, and that's a problem. Yeah.
So is that when they're sending out prednisone, or they're giving these pills or medicated shampoos?
Right. Well, because those are their first lines of defense, and you have to also think about the fact that we're getting secondhand information from the pet owner as well.
Right.
So unless you, like, I've dealt with some skin issues that I've talked directly to the vet, but that's very far and few in between with most groomers. You're getting the information from the pet owner. And
or they're walking in and going, "This is what my vet said to you."
Here's
and you have no idea what it's
always chlorhexidine shampoo.
Yeah,
it's always chlorhexidine, always.
Or
that's
Malasop.
all they know to do.
Malasop,
and
all those.
Chlorhexidine, of course, is incredibly drying. Right,
and they
when
don't
sometimes what they need is the opposite of that.
With oil or a conditioner, but you also have to remember too that.
And it's antibacterial, but maybe they've got a fungal problem.
Right. And so it's not, if people aren't doing, like, a lot of people don't do the whole spectrum of testing because of cost. I mean, it's outrageously expensive, and so skin scrapings, and then when they send them out and to do cultures. And so a lot of people just say, isn't there a pill? Isn't there a shampoo?
Because it's easy for people to do that.
It is. And then it falls on us as groomers.
Yeah.
They want you to get rid of it because they feel like, well, you should know what to do.
Yeah. Why aren't you taking care of this? Because they're here more than anywhere else.
Exactly. And so if it's a systemic problem, if it's a break in that immune system somewhere, and now dogs carry staph, And so they scratch and that opens up for the second infection. You know what I mean? And then
I was just going to ask you about that. I was going to ask about staph because I have seen since being in New England.
For those of you that don't know what she's talking about. Yes.
I have seen more animals up here with what, after my first few times seeing it, and I don't want to say I can always see it or know it because it's really hard to tell without knowing, but they don't treat it.
It's tough. It's tough to treat, and it's also, you're in a moist, sandy area, which is just lets bacteria breed. Unbelievable.
And marshy and swampy and
swampy. We don't see it a lot here in Arizona because it's so dry and arid. We may see it on like older pets because there's already a problem. And that is the secondary infection.
Yeah.
But
Julia is commenting about the switching the diet to address what they're seeing. And we will talk about that next week, Julia. So just hang on to that question.
Just about to say, yes. I'm going to do a little pitch right here. Julia is one of my graduates. She just opened her own business.
Oh, congratulations.
And it's an adorable shop.
And
so I can't wait to go visit.
Whole Pet Academy sends you out into the world ready to do that. That's awesome.
She's done well. So yeah, I can pitch that right.
Yeah, why not?
So one of the things that I think has, my 40-year history teacher perspective in the industry, that I love to sort of see the sea changes in the trends. We do have, thanks to, Barbara Bird started it all, and all of the people that have been built, and certainly Michelle Knowles, the great one. But you've got whole huge attention to it now because of the omnipresence of the Yves Saint Bernard and Dr. Cliff Favors classes, and of course Michelle helped build that program, and then also just people beginning to see older dogs more often. We are now living in a time compared to when I was a groomer in the early 80s. Average lifespan of a dog was like 7, 8, 9 years old. And now, and this is true, this is actually true, that dog lifespan on average has doubled in the last 40 years from 7 years of age to 14 years of age. Yeah. So that means that most of the dogs that we are seeing, half their life, they are geriatric. And old skin is old skin in people. And just like dogs, it's always, it could be sometimes it's just old age. Sometimes it's that the diet isn't changing to go with the aging of the skin or whatever. But yeah, our skin needs change throughout our lifetimes. What we needed, and of course, we have a lot more skin, a lot less hair and a lot more skin. But, our skin needs change over time, and so do dogs. And so part of it is being responsive to their age.
So I know I'm going to jump ahead here because I'm going to ask a question based on this, and this goes to our product. So maybe we can rethink that and go back to this. But so when you have a lot of options for products and a lot of options, do you think that as a shop, it's good to be a product switcher?
I think you should
What's the cause and effect of that on, and because sometimes it's like, oh, well, they don't have it, so I'm going to buy this, or that's still not in stock, I can't get it. That's got to have an effect on.
But you have to have I think one of the things that we're learning is that you have to have not just one shampoo for everybody.
Variety.
And that's one of the biggest problems in our industry is that and this is one of my 15 co-types class major pet peeve topics that we're trying to talk about, the fact that pretty much, I'm not even going to estimate the numbers, but a significant percentage, more than half of all groomers have never been to a grooming school, have never taken an online class, have never subscribed to the free Groomer to Groomer magazine, have never gone to a conference, haven't gone to any online grooming training. They just pick up a book, whatever, and hang out their shingle. And there's no regulation in the industry to stop people from doing that. And one of the problems with that is that then people, and then they just use the same shampoo and they shave everything, and no matter what. Sorry, that must mean my husband's home. Sorry about the barking. But yeah, it's a problem. We're not supposed to be doing the same thing to every different kind of dog's coat and skin. It is different. There is in this book, if I may pull it down, this book.
That's the one, Terry.
Yeah.
Terry, if you're still watching, this is the one that Michelle uses in her class. And chapter 1, my students struggle going through for level 100, chapter 1.
Yes. And that's the only chapter that really matters to us as groomers. But in it, it says very clearly that there are 3 medical categories of skin and coat. Well, coat. Remember, skin and coat are connected. Hair is actually just skin in a different form, right? It's all keratin. It's all protein. So hair grows out of the skin. It is the same. But I don't know if you can see this page, but it says short, normal, and long are the 3 categories. And it has to do with the breeds. It has to do with the genetics. It has to do with the ratio of primary hairs to secondary hairs. It has to do with the growing cycles, the anagen, catagen, telogen phases. There are all different things that go into these general categories, but you can group coat types by these, in these general categories, but you have to treat them all in terms of products. You have to treat them differently. They all need everything. They all need oils, collagen, minerals, calcium, phosphorus, magnesium. But to feed and to nourish the skin, which is the best way to address an allergy from our perspective, we're not going to be doing the medical stuff to it, but we can make sure that the skin is healthy and strong and well nourished and well moisturized and so on. So you have to do them differently because those short coats, they need more oils, and those medium coats, they need more minerals, calcium, phosphorus, magnesium, and those long coats, they need more humectants, emollients, moisturizers, so and collagen. So it's a real important thing that you have an array of products that address the different skin and coat types based on that science.
And as much as we love, and I am an aromatherapist, which is someone that deals in aromas, smells. And as much as we love to open all those bottles and smell those scents, you really, really need to kind of start to get away from those kind of heavily scented products and go with things that are actually better for the animals and for us, because our hands are in it and our bodies are in it, because half the time we get they shake and it gets all over us. And so they don't, for the pet grooming shampoos and conditioners and products, they do not have the same standards that they have to report for ingredients that they do for human product. And so there are things in there that are very detrimental that they use in these fragrances and fragrance oils that can exacerbate or even just spark an allergy. I mean, it could just be, I've seen animals that have little scratch or, a little nick or something, and then you wash them, and the next thing you know, that stuff gets in there, and you're using something that's like, cherry limeade shampoo, or, something that's not a naturally derived scent. And
it's just designed to the people. It's designed to sell to the people. Yeah. It's a marketing thing that is not good for dogs. And in fact, I don't think there should be fragrance in these products other than what is the natural fragrance of the plant-based stuff that's in it. Yeah.
I think that's we have to really, truly start looking at those things. As much as you want your dog to smell like blueberry muffins,
that's not natural for them.
It's unnatural. And that's why a lot of animals, when they go home from being groomed, they go out and they roll around.
They go and find it and roll in it because we spray perfume on them.
Yes.
Remember, their olfactory sense is anywhere from 10,000 to 100,000.
Yeah.
And one scientific study suggested in some breeds up to 1,000,000 times
Yeah.
more sensitive than us. And that means that they are smelling stuff in a whole different way. I mean, smell is their primary sense. Our primary sense is our vision. We do not have a primary relationship with scent the way they do. It's just a nice little additive for us. For dogs, if you put something that smells lovely to you as a human on them, you could literally be like, one book I read by a veterinarian likened it it's called The Other End of the Leash by a veterinarian named McConnell, and it's an amazing book. She does everything.
That link one time before?
Yeah, The Other End of the Leash with by Dr. McConnell. She is just amazing. And she does everything from the point of view of the science and from the dog's perspective. But when they experience scent, they're experiencing it like an atom bomb.
Yeah.
Right? So much more.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hi, Katie. I see Katie Hegla. I don't think she's watched us before. This might be her first time.
Hello, Katie.
Hi.
Hello, Katie.
And
sorry,
Cat Smart, I just want to shout out to Cat Smart. She said that variety is key with products, and I agree.
Yes. We're going to do a whole line on products later this month, but Katie asked if we recommended any brands or products.
I tend to say go with what works for you, but try and think about what types of dogs you groom, or cats, think about what your clientele is. Like, I had a very large senior pet population that I groomed. And so I knew that already most of them were immune compromised. They were suffering from some other, problem that, affects the skin and the coat. The coat gets brittle, this and that. Mm-hmm. So when you choose your products, look at the kind of customers that you do on a regular basis, and then gauge the products you purchase that way. If you don't do a lot of drop coats, why get, like heavy conditioners or, you know what I mean? Like, think about the animals that come across your table on a regular basis.
Yeah, it's important. Your water type.
Yeah,
yes,
absolutely.
Exactly.
Yes.
Yeah.
Your water type. Oh my gosh. When I moved to Portsmouth, I went through about
and your
5
climate,
different
your overall
brands.
climate.
Yep, your climate.
Because I was like, nope, this doesn't work. Nope.
Well,
this ain't working either.
I will say, and I'm just gonna say it. I'm Yves Saint Bernard. It's the only product line that truly differentiates by what the needs of the skin and the coat are. There are other shampoo lines that are starting to figure that out. Nature's Specialty has started having conversations about, we need to use this kind of a product line on this kind of a coat and skin. So I think that, there are other companies that are starting to do that, but obviously the best work in the world is being done by,
a great line. They have their couture line. They have their everyday line. There's
I look at the other end.
Kat is pointing out. Sorry, go ahead.
No, I was going to say, I just, at the other end of the, because I know price point is a lot for a lot of people,
Yeah.
And so at the other end of the spectrum, I like the Best Shot products. I love how, they want to educate the groomer, that they want to, provide information about their product. They disclose their ingredients.
Mm-hmm.
That's amazing. That's
a go-to for me. And especially when you have a variety of different coat types. They have some good overall shampoos that work and conditioners that work with a lot of different types of coats. So
Cat Smart actually pointed out Canine is also a very good line. That's from Sweden. The two, it's generally believed, in our industry that the two best lines in the world are not American made. They are Yves Saint Bernard from Italy and Canine from Sweden. And both of those lines are, they're a little bit pricier, but I have to tell you, making the switch to Yves Saint Bernard, the portions that you use, yes, you pay more for the bottle of the product,
Right.
but the portions you use are really way smaller, and it's really about the same money. I'm not spending more on shampoo. I'm really not.
Yeah. But
So-
now there's a lot saying that ingredient disclosure, and we've said that, and we're getting into our products, so we'll have to come back to this. But,
Right.
but it's a big conversation. Yves Saint Bernard does not release their ingredients.
No, that's true. And
A lot
I think
of them
ingredient
don't. A lot of
disclosure
them
is
don't
important.
put all their ingredients. Some of them will release some, but
Yeah.
then they use the little, and again, we're getting off track, but they use
that's
the
all right.
little proprietary blend, or you know what I mean? They have different ways of saying like botanicals. Well, what botanicals, you know, or
Yeah.
so
Yes.
it's
So
just
if a dog comes to us with the diagnosis of allergies from a vet, because we're not going to diagnose that, right? We're not.
well, we can't diagnose anything.
Yes,
No.
we can't diagnose anything. And I think it's really important that people don't do that. And I want to make sure we've said that to all of our viewers tonight, that we groomers never diagnose anything. We don't say, oh, this looks like an allergic reaction or whatever. All you can talk about is dryness or oiliness or lesions, or you can look at symptoms. You can describe symptoms. You can ask the owner what you're seeing, but you should also, as a groomer, know that if it's a smooth coated Doberman or a bulldog or something with a short, smooth coat, and it's got flakes on it, it's probably because they're not getting enough oil. That's just a need of that skin type. And if it's a, if it's a shedding breed, a German Shepherd or a Husky or something like that, and it's developing skin problems, probably they are going to be, needing more of the minerals that make that coat type work. You know that the biggest problems, most of us groom dogs that are haircut dogs, right?
Mhm.
Poodles and long-coated doodles and Shih Tzus and mixes of the breeds that have hair. And most of them just need really good conditioning. They need good collagen and stuff. So one of the things that we can't fix the allergies, but we can make the skin healthier. And so as long as we talk to our clients, knowledgeably about nourishing the skin and coat, I think that is really, we can't get into, what the allergies are. That's a kind of a veterinary process, but we can certainly help them.
But things like nutrition play an important part of the same thing for us as human beings. If the dog is dehydrated, the skin is going to lose its elasticity, lose that shine. It's going to get flaky. Why would a dog be dehydrated? Maybe it's not getting enough oils and it's not getting enough water through its diet. There's lots of different things. So for us, we can't diagnose, but we can say what we see with the naked eye. We
can learn how to ask the right questions.
Yeah,
absolutely. And
asking the right questions is crucial when
taking. I think Kat makes a really good important point about what you were saying, Dara, about asking questions. Canine will give their MSD sheets. How many of you all do what I do, which is I think it should be a requirement that you should have the MSD sheet on every product in your shop.
Yeah, it's changed to, they call them SDS sheets.
So it used to be material safety data,
now
which is kind of like, this is like OSHA regulations, Occupational Safety and Health Administration of the federal government. But for beginning groomers, or for those people who don't know, you really should keep on file in your shop the MSD sheets from the websites of every product, whether it's your dryers, your clippers, and then certainly products, shampoos, conditioners, and so on. You should always have those MSD sheets, but they are now called, Dara?
SDS sheets.
Which stands for?
Safety data sheets.
Okay. Safety data sheets.
Nothing crazy. I think depending on your occupation. So like I have them, we have to bathing rooms to storage rooms. We got 2 of everything in my shop, so we have 2 of everything. And we keep the shampoo sheets with the shampoos and the products. So, and they're separate in separate binders. And then the cleaning supplies are separate as well. It's very easy nowadays. And I think with OSHA, sometimes they'll be a little more lenient with them. And actually, for the business seminar coming up, I'll do a plug here for me. I'm doing OSHA certifications and all that. Is it
Oh,
in 2
that's great.
weeks,
How can
Melissa?
people get that, Dara? How can people take one of your classes to get, if you own your own facility and you don't know about OSHA regulations,
that's
you should.
crucial. So they're a little more lenient that if you can pull it up quickly online, because all of them should be online. But I think it's just better to have them right there if they're near your shampoos. If anybody, dog, cat, if you have to contact the poison control, human, whoever it is, you can grab it. I keep it in alphabetical order, so it's easy to flip through and go, here it is, I got it.
Wendy says from the UK, we have a
I
UK
know.
watcher. Hi,
I was
Wendy.
just gonna say that. I know, isn't that
That
great?
all UK companies release their ingredients. That's great. And she recommends the brands For All Dog Kind and Wild Wash. Those must be British. That's great.
Yeah.
I wish that we had that requirement here.
Yeah, but it is a privacy thing. And I think when I've talked to some of the shampoo lines and other product companies, the ones that say they don't want to release, we're getting back to products. It always comes back to products, doesn't it? I'll get off. But they all say that, it is. Do you want your work released to anybody? So if you've worked hard for something, I know. But so I had a thought about, you were going with the SDS sheets.
Yeah.
I got off kilter about that. What were we talking about prior to you saying that?
Well, it just, because people should, people, let's just say, let me use this example. My bathers, I have one bather. It's a guy. He's wonderful, Eric. And he gets real bad broken out on his skin in his forearms from bathing. I buy these really good lotions and creams and stuff and keep, urge them to do several times a day and to do it at night, to try to nourish their own skin because they're in soap all day long. But it's a problem. The SDS, do these SDS sheets also address, like human allergic reaction to their products as well?
So they're basically put out for poison control.
If you ingest it.
If you ingest it, if you have it in your eyes, if it's too heavily on your skin, any internal, that way, if you have to call poison control or send a dog to, I think I just saw on a group, I want to say it was yesterday or last week, that somebody had a cat on their table and used an over-the-counter feline friendly product, and the cat started salivating and foaming at the mouth from a very fast reaction to it.
Yeah,
and that if you're using a product that's been brought in by an owner, which apparently this is what happened, she had no way quickly of being able to get and call the vet and say, oh, this is what I used. So if you're having an animal have a reaction on the table like that, you've got to be able to know exactly, I use this is what's in it. And that way the vet or poison control can go, yep, this is going to work. So whoever it is that you're dealing with, that's what that's for. That's why those are crucial.
Yeah, cats. And
sometimes you have just minutes.
We should say this in terms of cat sensitivity to anything, allergens included, is that cats, their skin is even, dogs have thin skin. Cats have very thin skin.
Yeah.
Right, Melissa?
Yeah. Absolutely, yes.
Yeah.
And it's not just that, they're licking it off.
Yeah.
They lick it right off.
They're
spray them with anything.
Yeah.
And cats get allergies just as much as dogs do. Feline acne is one of the number one things that you see in cats, and contact dermatitis is another that you see a lot with felines. Feline acne is usually on the chin and up around their little face, mouth, and stuff. I try and have my feline clients understand not to feed in plastic bowls.
Yeah, that's a huge one. Or even ceramic. Ceramic, once it's not good.
No, the
Why is
bacteria.
ceramic not good?
What?
Because ceramic it's
porous.
almost like, and it just sucks it in like metal
Yeah,
does, or
and
like
plastic. Even though they glaze ceramic, by us washing them and cleaning them, that glaze breaks down.
Deteriorates it.
And then that bacteria.
And stainless steel bowls.
Stainless is great for felines. Is good, so that it's clean. You know what I mean? The bacteria can't grow on that. It depends also if you like what your water is like for if you want to use glass or like china, those kind of things, which my cats eat out of little china dishes,
My dogs have Waterford.
I know your dog's eat out of
crystal.
Yeah, her dog's eat out of crystal. My cats eat out of china for them.
You're just a little spoiled.
Yeah, my boys are a little spoiled too, but
that's so cute.
Acne is a huge allergy that you see with cats, and contact dermatitis, which shows up as all these little dots under the skin and their hair. I mean, under the fur, and the skin looks red and angry, irritated, and the more they scratch, the worse it gets. And so that's always a really tough one because cats are super sensitive. So I had a client that all of a sudden her cat just started losing hair, and I knew what it was when I saw it, but I told her take him over to the vet, all that. When next time she brings him in, she's like, I said, it looks to me like it's some sort of skin allergy, but the vet is gonna have to do a determination and figure out what it is. When she brought him back, she said, he said it's contact dermatitis, and they gave him some medicine and stuff to use, blah, blah, blah. And I said, well, what changed? Because I have been grooming the cat for years and he never had that. And I said, what did you do? What changed? All of a sudden he's got contact dermatitis. And I know that as they get older, they're more susceptible to things. Well, as we started talking and I started, like Dara said, ask the right questions. Did you change this? Did you change that? And she's like, no. And I said, what about like when you clean? And she's like, no, I use all pet friendly stuff, blah, 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 blah. And I said, what about like your couch? And because she was complaining that with the contact dermatitis, he's losing all this hair and she's having to clean constantly because the hair stuck to everything. And I said, what are you cleaning with? Blah, blah. Finally, we get to the thing that, that contact dermatitis, he starts to get a secondary staph infection from it being open wounds, all that. It was getting smelly. She started spraying her couches and everything with Febreze.
Oh no, that's the worst.
Well, the thing is that he
lays on it.
Yep, and she wanted to freshen up the house before. It was just something new she introduced, but it took that long. She had been using it almost a year before he got the dermatitis from it. Because what happens is their liver can't break down those chemicals, and it just builds and builds in their body. So it's not an overnight. It's not like all of a sudden you go spray, and then your cat, or your dog is itchy. It may take time for those allergies to build within their body. And then all of a sudden that's how it manifests, through the skin.
Yes. Kat, by the way, mentions that Waterford crystal might have lead in it. And that's true.
I'm going to look it up right now.
All crystal has lead in it. That's what makes crystal. Yeah. They add lead to it. But I don't know if it leaches. I don't know. I don't know if it gets out or not. I mean, there's also lead in just normal drinking water and in the soil and everything too.
There's levels. It's like paint, and you know what I mean. There's like levels that's allowable. But
Waterford is 1/3.
1/3, and that's all crystal, by the way. Yeah, but one of the things that I hope that people will do as they try to address the broad diagnosis of allergies that comes from vets to us, along usually with a bottle of their chlorhexidine shampoo, which is not, they don't go together. You guys know that allergies and, because chlorhexidine shampoos are antibacterial, right? Lisa Herbold, am I right about this? Yeah. Lisa, tell me in the chat room if I'm right about this. But all of the just an antibacterial shampoo is not going to address an allergy, right? So again, our response is we can't fix something medical, but what we can do is strengthen what that skin needs. And we can get them clean. I can't do this episode without addressing microbubble technology and ozone technology, both of what Dr. Cliff is pushing through his Yves Saint Bernard classes. He talks a lot about the ozone machine and that O3 molecule as being a really good way to scrub crud off of skin. I use a TheraClean microbubble and love it. It actually cleans down inside pores and follicles. For every single dog that I've ever had come to me with allergies, giving them a microbubble has changed everything, because there's the surface of the skin and then there's the little holes inside, right? The little pores and follicles, like what we can see on our own skin. And those are like little wells of which allergens can trap down inside. It's the same reason I use TheraClean for skunks. Skunk oil can get down inside the pores and follicles of any mammal. And we mammals, we have these little pockets, these little holes in our skin, these pores and follicles. And getting something that will clean out in, not just on the surface of the skin, but down inside is one of the reasons why I know that both the ozone approach and also the microbubble approach, but the microbubble approach, actually, they know that those bubbles penetrate the size of the follicle. And one of the best things that I've ever had for my allergy clients, if somebody comes to me and says, my dog has allergies, I'm going to do a microbubble machine to clean out all of those little pores and follicles. And then I'm going to nourish them with the correct balanced product for whichever one of their 3 coat types that they have based on this science. So I'm either going to give them something that's heavy in the oils if they're short and smooth coats, or hairless if they're a medium coat or double coat, fur bearing, a wire coat. I'm going to be using something that's mineral rich. And then if it's a long coat, poodles, doodles, combination coats, Shih Tzus, Yorkies, I'm going to be doing something with a lot of collagen and moisturizers. So all of those things we can do, and we can actually really just getting them clean and then nourishing their skin. That's going to be fantastic for whatever it is that's ailing them.
I agree. I mean, there's so many different little pieces to the allergy puzzle, and I think that with the owner and then the veterinarian and then the groomer, everybody's got to be incommunicado with one another, understanding what's going on in order to help alleviate this, from the pet.
And Lisa Herbold points out something very important. Chlorhexidine is a very good shampoo approach if they have a secondary skin infection, which a lot of allergies can lead to a secondary infection that has to sometimes be treated even with antibiotics. Mm-hmm. So it's not to say that you don't do that, but you can also then follow up with good conditioners and other things that really nourish them.
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah,
that's interesting.
Right. Yeah.
Lisa made a really great point. Allergies are never cured, just managed. Right. Excellent point.
Yeah.
Yep. I got to go back. Kat, this is what I found for Crystal. It is now what they're saying, extremely safe to use your crystal glassware safely daily. because there's not enough lead in it, in the stemware or the barware or on the plates, to be served that it gets into the food long enough.
Okay.
So we're safe.
Yeah.
That's good.
I was going to say, we better be safe because my dog's
Because
been
I
eating
drink
off
my
of Crystal
wine
for
out
a
of Crystal.
long time.
I drink my wine out of Waterford Crystal too. So.
Believe me, I've seen Dara's
Melissa
dog.
knows.
I've seen Dara's dog eat, and that food's not in the bowl long enough for it to leak anything into it. They snarf that Dara cooks for her dogs. Her dog food smells amazing. When she's like, "Oh, it's time for the dogs to eat," I thought it was time for us to eat dinner. I was like, "Are you cooking for us?" She's like, "No, that's the dog food." So it doesn't, it's not like, long time ago. Yeah.
Spoiled. Just a bit.
Okay.
Just
That's
a bit.
what it's supposed to be.
But I am going to say, I have been a very, very bad dog owner. My dogs have not had baths since we were in Florida.
Oh my goodness.
Right?
It's like the cobbler's children that have no shoes.
Oh my God. Oh, Beatrice's nails. She's like, she looks like they're talons. I'm like, oh God. You know how much I hate taking them to the shop. They're nightmares.
We are in full blown spring summer here. It was 103 today. It's
that is so heavenly.
My air conditioner, my husband just came home. My AC is on now because he's like, it's hot in here. I, of course, have a sweatshirt on because I'm always freezing, and my dogs have been so itchy, and because my allergies have been crazy, and because everything's in bloom. And so I've been bathing on and off and doing no shampoo, but just rinsing them with some tepid water and then letting them air dry. I'll run a little bit of a silicone-based product just to help keep the fur from being brittle, and let them air dry a little bit. But it's tough when we're all suffering and the dogs. That's that's one of the ways is that if you imagine your nose being super itchy from your allergies in your eye. And it affects their whole body. Like my Yorkie, she rubs her whole face on the carpet.
Yeah, I got one doing that. I'm going to put it up because I think it was Lisa, or was it Kat that said her ears? Look at those ears.
Oh, so Winnie, I love Winnie.
So just so you know, when I went into the Bible here,
grab that book again.
I wanted to just look up in the index, just out of curiosity, how many different kinds of allergies are listed throughout the whole book. And there's basically like 2 full columns in the index of different allergens, allergic things, exposures, detections, responses, different kinds of specific allergies, contact time, reactions, inflammatory, otitis, just it's huge.
I have the link for this book, so I will post this link if anybody is interested in this book. It's on Amazon.
It's expensive, but I'm so glad I bought
$200.
Yeah, it's like $175 or something.
Yeah, and I think you can get the e-version of it.
If you look on eBay, you might be able to buy some of the text
used.
So at a lesser price. I know Amazon does that also.
Yeah, there's a bunch of them listed on Amazon.
Yeah.
But that first chapter is fascinating to read as a groomer.
It's a hard read. It's not easy. It is a tough read.
It's a textbook for a veterinary class. Okay. It's a postgraduate degree level, somebody who's working on getting a doctorate. Okay. In veterinary science. It's a textbook.
Yeah.
So it's really sciencey. But it's got great diagrams, and it does explain why we see what we see as groomers. And it also really stresses the importance of skin and coat. Skin is the largest organ in the body for all of us.
Mm-hmm.
And it is the most important organ. It's not just the thing that holds everything all together. It also stores nutrients. It does hydration. It functions as an environmental filter and toxins. It is, it's protective. It's regenerative. It's so incredibly important. And I just think that we can't, as an industry, do enough. We're still not there yet as an industry. We just don't have enough groomers that know about skin and coat and the importance of nourishing skin and coat.
Lisa, can you please Facebook or can you private message me the link for that book that you're talking about? I will find the link and I can post it in all.
Is she not talking about the Muller and Kirk book?
No, she said a dermatology book for technicians, which is easier to understand.
Ooh, that would be great.
Yeah. So if you can,
thank you, Lisa.
Private message me that way I can look it up and get a link for it and I can post that because that'll be good. I know Winnie wanted to come say hi. She's very needy tonight. I mean, she's 14 and a half years old. Her tongue doesn't stay in her mouth anymore.
Aww.
She drools. She snots all over me all night long.
You've given her a good life.
She has. You want to see how bad her nails
one
are?
One of the most important things that I'm seeing with all the geriatric dogs with, and again, a lot of times it's the vets just saying, oh, it's allergies, but actually it might be just old age. But your skin is what makes you feel good. If your skin feels dry, it's uncomfortable. If your skin feels greasy, it's uncomfortable. If it's cracked, if it's got lesions, if it's itchy, there's nothing more uncomfortable than this. And it's literally, I think, the most important thing that we do. That and toenails, I think are just in terms of protecting their long-term orthopedic health with a toenail clipping and then nourishing the skin and coat. That's like literally the most important thing that we do.
I think it's important that we always say that because I think we're getting close to the end now, aren't we?
Yeah, we got a few more minutes.
Yeah. So I think it's important that we understand that it is always going to be something that we see. It's never going to be eradicated. It'll always be something that, like Lisa said, that has to be managed. And as groomers, everybody that comes to us as a customer comes to us from a different place where they are in their life. So our job is to address any issue, educate them the best that we can with the knowledge that we have. That's why it's so important for us to be well educated as groomers and professionals. But we have to leave judgment out of it. I know I have dealt with clients and I've been so frustrated how you talk to another groomer, and you'll be like, oh my gosh, I can't believe this dog's in here again. It's still so itchy, it's been so bad. And all they keep doing is telling me to wash them in this stupid shampoo or whatever it is. They need to see this, that. And then come to find out later that they can barely afford to get the dog groomed. And so, I'm grateful for the fact that at least I could do some topical things to help this animal. That a lot of times we get, and the reason I'm saying this also is in one of the groups that I was reading in, they were going off about clients and stuff. And I thought, it is a frustrating job for us. But we also have to look at it from the other side as well. And, sometimes we do a lesser job and we want to help less because we're frustrated. We stay in frustration and we're frustrated with the owner.
Yeah.
Such a good point, Melissa.
And we don't do the job we should because we feel like, well, they're not going to do their part. So I'm not going to go out of my way to do, I'm not going to use the expensive stuff on this dog. This dog's had allergies or had this going on forever, and we're doing ourselves and the animal a disservice.
Mm-hmm.
So
absolutely, well said.
I think that's an important part of our job is to step out of that judgment and not judge people and actually focus in on that animal. What can I do to help them in this moment that I have with them?
Yeah, and do the best by it.
Exactly.
And there
Whether
are
it lasts for, we've got a lot here because at least when I was in another part of the state, we had a lot of people that didn't like using flea and tick products, like
Mhm.
the real stuff, and they used
there's a lot of people that
natural.
won't use conditioner. They
Right.
just shampoo
Right.
and don't use conditioner. I think there's corporate groomers that charge extra for conditioner and therefore don't use it on dogs. And they end up
That'll
just making
change.
them, yeah.
That is going to change as it's coming out more and
Yes.
more that we are using it on a regular basis. But
Right.
I was going with these people that aren't using flea and tick product, and these animals are coming in with fleas constantly. And it's like, I used to get so frustrated by the animals that came in. It's like, oh, they're going to have fleas again. Oh, they're going to have fleas again. But it's like, you know what? If I can soothe this one animal for 20 minutes before he gets back home. But
and there's nothing wrong with saying to the client, listen, you've repeatedly come in with your dog has come in or your cat has come in repeatedly with parasites.
Yeah.
And you
need to treat the environment at home.
Right. You have to treat, if you don't do this, if you don't follow up, I'm not going to be able to groom anymore for you because I risk infestation every time your pet comes to my salon.
Absolutely.
And there's no shame in that. That's not saying I'm judging you. I'm educating you. I'm telling you, listen, I want you to come here. I want to help, take care of your animal to the best of my ability, but you also have a responsibility as well. And so, if you can't do those things, then you have to find somebody else that is going to groom your pet that doesn't care if they infest the salon or affect other animals. But that's not being judgy. You know what I mean? That's not being in judgment of them. That is setting boundaries and limitations and saying, listen, I'm here to help, but I can't help if we consistently don't deal with the issue.
Yeah. I think Kat had said she charges extra.
Right.
First time, if I find it, I tend to not, only because most people want to rectify it. So I'm like,
absolutely.
Or if it wasn't enough, but if it's a repetitive, then we're definitely going to charge extra.
Yeah. And we see that, the matted dogs that come in, twice a year, and you're like, I just started telling them, your dog's got, stuff going on. All his skin's messed up all underneath all this matting. And if you can't get them in for regular grooming to keep the coat from getting like this, then you're going to have to find somewhere else because it's just not fair. And I'm not able to do my job completely. So, and that's just, basic rule of thumb,
Yeah, very well said, Melissa.
When we start to do that kind of stuff, more and more people will have to step up.
Right.
So before we close, can I had asked Dara's permission. Can I plug something?
Sure.
I appreciate that. Okay, so before we sign off,
I just want to post it on our page. That's the rule.
Okay, I will post it on the Whole Pet Academy teachers page, and I'll put it.
Yep.
Well, I mean, I think everybody knows.
You can put it on I think you're on the main Facebook page as well. So please post.
Yes, good. I will. No, I will. Yep. So this month's issue of Groomer to Groomer, April of 2021. This month's issue, I've written, I think, the most important article that I've yet written for Groomer to Groomer, and I'm real excited that they published it. I just want to say, and again, everybody knows I'm a historian, and I was a history teacher, and that grooming is a second career for me. I see everything through the eyes of history, and I just want to stop at this moment in time when I hear everybody on social media is going through the same thing about the pandemic puppy phenomenon. I've written an article in April's Groomer to Groomer magazine. It's free. It's online if you want to go see it, even if you don't take the magazine. Go read this article because it's acknowledging and describing and statistical research about the actual phenomenon of a huge increase in dog ownership that has happened, not just here, but worldwide.
Yeah.
But let's just talk about, the United States. It has happened pretty much everywhere. And if you're in an urban, suburban area and you're grooming, you're seeing it, because I've not talked to any groomer that hasn't seen this. So the article is it's called The Pandemic Puppy Phenomenon. I just want people to maybe come to my Groomer's Guide Facebook group and tell me what you're seeing, because I'm trying to gather more information about this. But there's already statistical data from the American Pet Products Association, from the American Veterinary Medical Association, from consumer statistical research corporations that are showing maybe as much as a 30% increase in pet ownership just in the last year. 30% more dogs and cats. It's actually 30% more dogs and 40% more cats. There's actually a lot of cats too. And it's very, very impactful on our industry. And I just want people to be aware that there's a big thing happening right now with the huge increase in ownership of dogs that is going to revolutionarily, basically, it's going to change our industry. Certainly put us more in high demand. And I talk about what are some of the impacts of our industry and what we should be doing about it. But I'd love to have people go into the Groomer's Guide group and say something about that. So I wanted to plug that. Thank you, Dara, for letting me.
I was just going to say I went through today because I knew you had done that. We had 72 new puppies in March.
I've been getting 3. I used to get 1 or 2 new clients a week. I'm getting 3 to 5 new clients a day.
Yeah.
Now, and I'm doing the math.
79 or 72 puppies. That was just, and I'm like, that wasn't our new clients. I was like, holy cow, this is crazy.
And my anecdotal data is that about half of them are new first-time and never owned a dog before.
First-time owners. Yeah. Yep. Kat had said may be that many more home groomers too. I'm sure there's going to be a lot more home groomers, but not legal ones.
There's not 30% more groomers, and there's not 30% more vets. And by the way, none of the vets in my area are even taking new clients.
Neither. I have been in Portsmouth now for 2 years. The one vet I was going to, so I can't even get in to a vet here. I actually, when I needed a rabies vaccine on one of my girls, I took him to the emergency clinic. And they were like, well, we usually don't do that. I'm like,
right.
Well, I can't get in.
So for Katie and
Katie,
anybody else that was chiming in about this, please go into the Groomer's Guide Facebook group mine and post and share your experiences about the pandemic puppy phenomenon. And just remember that this is a good thing for us, right?
Yeah.
It's a good thing for us. We can be pickier. We can raise our prices.
Yes. Well, I've been educating my puppy people because I breed Shih Tzus, and so I've been having my people that purchase puppies from me. They come back to me for the first grooming if they're within the state and they're not super far from me, but they come back, and then I show them how to care for their puppy. They get a big packet that includes grooming, all kind of grooming instructions, all that kind of stuff.
Awesome.
And so, because they're having to wait months and months to get in, to even get into a groomer. And so if that's going to be the case, then I want them to understand, and I teach them the importance of not shaving them and understanding why they shouldn't take them naked. But
now this might be a concern coming up with all these pandemic puppies, but how big when the daycares were all shut down and all the friends I have that have these daycares and that they were closed because they were a lot of places considered non-essential, except for essential workers. I think that happens.
Actually, most places now they are. I mean, the federal government redefined all animal care last April as essential.
Right. But now you've got all these people. If all these people start going back to work and these puppies are older and never having been left alone, what do you do with them? So all you daycares, be ready.
Yeah.
Because they're going to be at your shop.
And if you are a
they're
groomer,
probably not going to be trained.
if you are a groomer with a salon, section off a part of your shop and open daycare services and charge a lot, guys. Just everybody needs to raise their prices, prioritize their regulars, stop ever worrying again about being competitive with groomer down the street. There are going to be so many dogs. Like, our whole industry should be unified around the fact that we're all going to go up in value, up in professional respect. People are going to start competing for our services.
Yeah.
This is a good thing.
It's a good thing.
Raise your prices.
It is a good thing. Yep. And send those groomers, those potential groomers to me. Because we got a class to fill.
Go
and
to
I
the
can't
Groomers
post.
Guide Facebook group and share your stories.
I had 12, 13, 14 emails and phone calls. I need a groomer. I need a groomer. I need a groomer. I can't fill the demand fast enough. I'm trying to figure out, is it worth doing like a crash course just to get some people out there and say, I got a crash course? Because there's no groomers.
Yeah,
I
mean, a real shortage in our, and this is a historical epic change in our industry. I'm sorry I took us over time with that topic,
but
I did
okay. It was a good one.
I did want to plug it, and please, everybody, go into the Groomers Guide Facebook group and share your stories about this.
And did everybody like our new intro? Critique. What do you think? How did it look?
It's so cool.
I gotta play with it for a little bit. I might tweak it up a little bit, but I gotta figure out how to play with that, because
we are so
I like our countdown, but man, that was fun to do. So
no, this was great work.
All right. Well, next week we missed Michelle. Next week we will be talking about. Let me find it again, because now I already forgot.
Food allergies next week?
Next week is nutritional.
Nutrition, food allergies, and yeah.
Oh, Lisa just emailed me. Veterinary dermatology. All right, real quick before we get off, I'm going to find this book for us.
The link to that book that Lisa Herbold recommends.
Yes, because I want to post this.
Dermatology book for vet techs, and easier to read than the Muller and Kirk veterinary textbook. It's great. That's
Wednesday,
good.
I have to do a virtual class I teach at a trade school and one of the classes that they have is for the high school students to be veterinary assistants, and then they can go on to a higher learning to be a vet tech, or wherever the vet assistant program. And they brought me in the year before, 2 years ago, and they have me teaching grooming once a week so that they get some grooming experience. And since they've brought me in that one time a week, they now, because everything is virtual, they're having me do a actual virtual class for them on why become a groomer, because they have so many students that want to be groomers.
Yes.
And, but for high school students, there's no technical school that teaches it here. So they would have to.
There you go, Melissa. Teach. There you go.
So, so I'm hoping.
And then, of course, you have all the wonderful online offerings that Miss Dara's schools has too. You can do a lot online. It's still a hands-on skill, but
it's still a hands-on
I just hope that everybody will try to, personally. I think every groomer just has this moral obligation to our industry. Create 10 more groomers, train people. It's so important.
I'm hoping that they decide to, I sent them a thing with a proposal so that they can figure out if they want to actually add that as an actual.
And Melissa Contadiner, you need to connect with Lisa Herbold, because she actually has been teaching in the Harper in a community college in the Chicago area, has been teaching. Yeah. So, and Kat Samard said, Dara, that she loves the new intro, but she also liked the countdown thing better with the stars and the little numbers. So maybe we'll alternate. Maybe we'll alternate.
We'll switch them, or I can do our ending. That could become our ending.
That has to be
I'm so excited about the return of live shows. I've already started planning my calendar. I hope I'm going to get to see some of you guys. in Atlanta and at PetQuest in Ohio and the All American in Chicago in August. And I'm going to be at the Northwest show in Seattle, Tacoma in this summer. I'm so excited. We're going to get to be together.
We'll see. Great. I might not be there, but we'll see.
Well, somewhere, and not just us, but all of us that are, so if you're a Groomer's Cut, if you are a person who watches our show, please come up to us at the shows and introduce yourself.
Yeah.
Lisa, please email that to me when you get a minute. Lisa,
what was that? Lisa,
yeah.
Yep. All right, ladies, we're gonna end this. We'll see y'all next week.
Have a great week,
everybody.
I'm
gonna redo that for our own closing act. How is that?
Okay.
So I'll redo that, and we'll do our countdown for the beginning, and then we'll have our closing, because that'll be a nice way of getting.
That's nice. Like that. Like closing credits.
Right? Yeah, closing credits. So I'll redo that. All right. Very good. Thank you for everyone who joined us. And next week we will nutrition. I know we might have a special guest if I can. I'm going to try to swing that.
That's great.
We'll see. All right. Have a great night, everyone.
Bye.
Bye.